When I first started playing with mini bow drill kits, it was purely a novelty. I just wanted to see if I could make a tiny one work. But over the past year, I've done a lot more experimenting and fiddling with my mini bows in particular, and I've really fallen in love with them. Mostly I have been using wildflower spindles with my mini bow drill sets. And it started with an observation I made when I was working with my hand drilling, either barehanded or with my thumb sling thunderheads. And what I noticed was that if I went from fingertip to heel of my palm, I was only getting 5 full rotations. From fingertip to heel of palm and back, I'm only getting 5 full rotations of this spindle is Goldenrod, and it's about 3/8 of an inch in diameter, so that's about typical. About 5 full rotations, tip to heel of palm. I mean, when I'm really going at it and trying to make heat quickly, I bet you I'm only getting 2 or 3 rotations tops as a practical matter. Well, it occurred to me to see how many rotations I would get out of one of my mini bows. This one is right at 1 foot long. I've drilled some holes about 1/2 inch in where the bow cord goes through, and I guess I use a practical part of the bow is about as long as my hand. And I counted, I put a spindle in the bow and I rolled it from one side to the other, and I was getting about 6 full rotations out of a mini bow. If 2 or 3 will work when I'm hand drilling, 5 to 6 will certainly work. And that's when I started taking this a little bit more seriously. And what I found is, especially when I'm working with wildflower stalks as spindles, embers come very quickly, almost no effort, and I also use very little downward force. Here's a spindle that I'm going to work with today. This is made out of ironweed, and I prepared it similar to the way I prepared my mullein stalk in a previous video, and I'll put a link to that down in the description. Ironweed is also a very thin wall wildflower. It's got a big pith core. And I took a piece of goldenrod, but any stick would do. This one's about 2 inches long. And I made a long taper on one end that I kind of drilled into the pith with. And I made a light taper on the other end. I put some whipping here just to keep it from going in too far. And I whipped some, and this is artificial sinew by the way, I put some whipping on the upper edge of the spindle to keep it from crushing. This goes together like that. But this stuff is such a thin walled material, you don't want to press down too hard or you'll break it. And if you use something with a smaller pith core like goldenrod, if you press down too hard, it'll just drill a hole clean through your fireboard and nothing flat. So when you're working with wildflower stalks, you want to be really gentle, press down very lightly. Another thing I do with when I'm working with wildflowers is I use my multiple wrap technique. So I've previously adjusted, let me tell you what I've got here. Up on this end, I've just got a figure-8 stopper knot. And down here, I've got a slippery figure-8 stopper knot. And in the other video that I'll link to in the description, I show you how to do the slippery figure-8 knot. But I've adjusted it so that I can apply multiple wraps. I get a lot of friction with the cord through those multiple wraps, but I don't have to tie the cord so tightly that it risks crushing my spindle. So, mini bow, lots of rotation, plenty of rotation, really good for wildflower spindles. Prepare them properly, be gentle with them, and they're working like a champ for me. I really, really, really like my mini bow drill kits. I want to go set up over at the fire pit and do a little demonstration for you shortly, and I hope you'll give it a try. It's a lot of fun, had a lot of success. So stay tuned. Let me go get set up. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay, let's give this little mini bow drill kit a try. We've got a foot-long fire bow made out of a piece of honeysuckle. This is an Ironweed spindle, fatwood thunderhead, cottonwood fireboard, and some fresh Lucky Buckeyes that I found on my walk this morning. Let's give it a go. Using the multiple wrap technique. Gives me lots of friction, but not too much crushing pressure on my wildflower stalk. I want to be gentle with that, and I want to use just light downward pressure on the spindle. I don't want to crush anything. Smoking. That is a big ember. My bird's nest is fuzzed up jute twine, some cedar shavings, and some thistle down. There we go. It's just that easy. I'm a big fan of my mini bow drill kits. They're working great. Not much effort. Work every time. Wildflower spindles are really doing the trick for me. Hope you give it a try. See you again soon.